He's coming. Reflection. But it's good. I mean, it's not that strong. You live now?
Ready to start? The voice is okay? Voice is okay?
Your voice goes into it directly.
I don't give in.
You can have that, right? I'm getting that. Oh, okay. It's not coming this way. Okay.
Okay, let's start. Hari Om. Let's do the Sahana Bhavatu and then Guru Stotram and we'll start the text. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sutram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tavaram Jangamam Yaptam Yatkim Chis Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapi Yat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. Welcome the online audience also. We are doing Panchadashi by Vidyaranya. We are almost in the end of the first chapter, but we'll provide some background, at least the first two classes, so that those who are joining us can also catch up with us. So Vidyaranya, you know, it's somewhere around the 13th, 14th century or 14th, 15th century. He was in fact the founder of the Vijayanagara Empire, and after that he became Shankara Peethadipati, and he's a very great Vedantin. And one of these famous texts is Panchadashi. He has also written the Jivan Mukta Viveka, Druptisya Viveka, and so on. And this Panchadashi, as the name itself suggests, involves Pancha and Dasi. That means 15 chapters. And each divided into 5 Panchakam. So the first one is the Viveka Panchakam, the 5 chapters, then the Deepa and the Ananda Panchakam. And we are at the first chapter covering the Tattva Viveka. Tattvam is the truth, and therefore this chapter in fact provides the foundation for all the 15 chapters. So here is an introductory chapter, at the same time provides a basis for it. And the 15th, the chapters deal with the Tattvam, and the introductory topic itself is Tattva Viveka. Tattvam is the essential truth, and the Tattvam Asi statement is taken in fact as the basis for the analysis of the whole book itself. And therefore, the introductory text itself takes us straight into the text, into the analysis of what is Tattvam. And in this, he starts with, like any other text, with the Namaskara to his teacher. So we will chant the invocation of this text by Vidyaranya. So those who have already done, we just go together. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Bhujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Grahak Grasaika Karmane. So here, this is the first invocation to the teacher, Shankarananda, and invocation to the Lord, who is Shankaram, who is auspicious, and Ananda Swarupam also. So it's both involving the teacher and through teacher to the Ishvara also. And Namaskaram, Guru Padam Bhujanmane, and prostrating to that teacher, to the lotus feet of the teacher, Shankarananda, and who always try to eliminate all the vasanas, all the impurities. That's all his full-time job is. And therefore, that teacher I am prostrating. With that, after introduction of the invocation, that justifying why am I writing this book, Sukha Bodhaya Tattvasya, for making this text for people to understand easily, because the Vedanta is very difficult to understand straight away. So the essence of Vedanta, just like the Gita is called the Upanishad, all these being milked by Krishna into something that people can address. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdam Gopalanandana. So that's which is the essence of Gita has been milked down by the Krishna and being distributed. In the same way, Sukhabodhaya Tattvasya. This, for easy understanding of this Tattvam, I am writing this book. So here he is justifying why he is entering into that. So with that, he goes straight into the analysis. So analysis requires, says there are two things in the world. One is the Jiva, I am, individual, and the world. So therefore, in every experience that we encounter, I am is there and the world is there. So these are only two things that I can see right now. So through perceptual process, I am seeing the whole world, and that is being explained now. And the whole first section deals with trying to find out in this absolute truth. These seems to be two things, the subject and the object. Subject I am and object this, the whole universe that constitutes under this. So now I had to analyze what is the subject and what is this that I am seeing. So analysis involves the fundamental truth of Tattvam, involves knowing what is the bottom line of what is I am and what is this world. So I need to know both. I have to analyze the both. So in first thing is I need to know who is that I am. When I say I am, for what is the truth of that I am. So the first part deals with who am I inquiry. So how do I inquire who am I? So when I encounter in this world, I always encounter as I am perceiving the world. So there is always a subject-object relationship that comes across in every experience. So there is an experiencer and experienced, and relation between the two is established in the experiencing. It's called a triad or triputi. So there is an experiencer, experience, and experiencing. So in the analysis of who am I had to take my experiences as basis to find out who I am. And if you look at my experiences, for everybody's experience that is common to everyone, there are three experiences that we go through. One is I am a waker in the waking state. I am a dreamer in the dream state. I am a deep sleeper in the deep sleep state. These are only three experiences called avasthatrayam. Three avasthas that I go through. There is nothing else, fourth avastha. So all these three avasthas. So I had to analyze to find out who I am. Only three things are available. One is the Shruti, the scripture, Yukti, logic, and Anubhava. These are the three. Anubhava is not experience of Brahman. Anubhava is everybody's experience. I had to take it as a basis for my analysis. So here he goes through the same arguments. He says, I am experiencing this world. So first we have to analyze how am I experiencing the world. So I am a subject and this whole world is an object for me to experience. So this subject-object duality is coming in every experience. So Tattva Viveka involves not only underlying the truth, but Viveka involves a discrimination of what is real and what is not real. Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka is required. And that has to be done only by the intelligent analysis. Because the truth is not directly visible as this is the truth. The truth is always mixed with something untruth. So I had to use discrimination to separate what is truth and what is untruth. I cannot have truth by itself as it is and say this is the truth. If not, it will be very easy. The problem is the things come always mixture. And Shankara starts with Brahma Sutra, as Adhyasa Bhasha, says Satyanita Mithrunikaranam Adhyasam. There is Adhyasa error involved because there is always a mixture of Satya and Uta. That means the truth and untruth are always getting mixed. So what is untruth in I am? Untruth in I am is when I say I am, we ask introduction, everybody say, please tell me who you are. Everybody says, I am this. So here is the problem. You can directly see why Viveka is required, because in the very definition of I am this, I am is a subject and this is an object. So I am trying to mix up these two, a subject and object together as one. I say I am this. So the confusion is already there when I say I am this, so which is essentially the structure of the ego itself, ahankara. So I am this, so people have this very big pages and pages of their biodata saying I am all that. But I am a subject and that is an object. I cannot be that. So I have to use this discrimination or viveka in order to separate this confusion where I say there is a subject I am is different from object this. So this process is required as a part of the viveka. So here, how am I going to do that I am inquiry? Who am I inquiry? All I have to just sit down, I am. It doesn't work. I had to use my experience, Anubhava, and use Viveka in the process to filter out what is I am. That's like in India, the mythological Hamsa bird is there. Hamsa bird is supposed to stake out the milk in the mixture of milk and water. It has a capacity to take out. That's why Hamsa is symbol for knowledge. So you have to take it out. What is the absolute truth in this mixture of truth and untruth in every perception? So Vidyaranya starts with that analysis. So this third sloka, those who have the text, by the way, we are interested in, and those who are joining us, we are interested in understanding it. So everyone should have a text to follow in order to follow this text. And we go by sloka and understand the depth of it. And the emphasis is not trying to cover a text. The emphasis is to have a clear understanding of what is being implied, because we have to use the discrimination what is real and what is not real. So in this inquiry, he starts with the statement, that is sloka 3, says, Sabdarsvasadayo vedya vaichitya jagare prataku tato vibhakta sat samvitu ekarupya nabhijyate. So here is taking the experience, the waking state. And the waking state, I am always, as soon as I get up from the bed, I am seeing all the universe in front of me. How do I see? Sabdasparsadi. By Shabdasparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The 5 senses are operating. And through the 5 senses only, I can perceive the world. So the whole universe now is divided into 5 types or 5 fields of experiences based on my 5 senses. 5 senses only can see these things. So the world is there is only because I am able to perceive the world through these 5 senses. If the 5 senses don't operate, then world is there or not, I won't know. It becomes indeterminate problem. So for me to say world is, all my 5 senses should be operating so that I can say this is the field of in which my Shabda, the sounds world, or the Rupa, or the forms. So in each word, in each experience, I am gathering that field of experience through the 5 senses. So 5 senses bring the information to the mind, and that information is transferred as the vritti, as the thought in the mind. So when I perceive an object, object is out there, but through the senses, the information is brought in to my mind as the thought of the object. So this thought is vritti, or in the Sanskrit. Therefore, when I say I am seeing an object out there, what is actually seeing is I am seeing a thought representative of the object out there as gathered by the senses. If my senses are defective, then the information I get about the world is also defective. If I am colorblind, then I don't see real colors there. So what I see is what it is there as far as I am concerned. So these 5 senses have to operate in that. And from these senses I gather the object and say I am a knower of this. So if you look at every experience, in every experience there are 2 things. One is I am the knower and this is known. So this being an object of my knowledge keeps changing depending upon what is the nature of the object. If the nature of the object is creating a sound, then that is the type of object that I perceive. It is forms and colors, then I need eyes to see. If it is taste, I need a tongue to taste. So varieties and varieties of objects are there in the universe, and these have to be experienced with my 5 senses. So therefore, says Vaichityaha Jagare Pratag. Pratag means different varieties of objects are being exposed to me through these 5 senses. Sabdadi Sparshadayoho, Sabdasparshadayoho, Vaichityaha. These varieties are being experienced through this 5. And in this experience, this keeps changing. The object of my perception keeps changing with the varieties too. So the varieties of objects, the objects that I see, objects are here, object I taste, and so continuously I am experiencing some morning to evening, or day in and day out, every month, every year, from the birth to the death, I am seeing continuously these varieties and varieties of objects in the waking state. And in this, there is a changing entity, which is essentially the object of knowledge. and there is a subject I am, and that is changeless entity. So I am knower of this, I am knower of this, or you say this is a subject and object relationship is there. So I know this, I know this, I know this. So this keeps changing in every perception. But I am is there. So using this perception, I had to discriminate using a viveka to discard what I am not and shift my attention to what I am. That's what it involves. So the viveka involves what is nityam and what is anityam, what is that which remains the same all the time, nityam is permanent, that which keeps changing. And in this experience that I am seeing this object through all the five senses, I had to use my discrimination intellect while seeing that I am not this, but I am pure subject. So how can I know myself? Should I remove all the objects? So if I remove all the objects, what happens? I am seeing the absence of the objects. So I am still a seer and there is to be seen. So it's not the object's problem. It is I had to shift my attention while seeing the object that I am not the object and I am this. That's called neti neti. Means I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, while seeing this. That's why it is a viveka, a discrimination, a subtle discrimination involved, because when I see the world, I am getting carried away with the world. Because I am getting carried away this to the extent that I take myself, I am this. I get so carried away. That's why when I introduce myself, I am this only. Nobody can say I am, period. Okay, you are what? Because we expect somebody to introduce as something that I can objectify. But I am not an object. And this is become a real problem to know exactly who I am. So what should I do? Use this process to realize that I am that which is undifferentiated, unchanging in all the changing experiences. In all the changing experiences, I am the knower, and this is known, this is known, this is known. So this is not me, and I am a knowing principle, a conscious entity. And this is an inert entity which is an object. And I am not inert. Nobody says I am an inert entity. Everybody claims that I am a conscious entity. Therefore, understanding and shifting my attention to the consciousness that I am and not to the unconscious entity as this is what is required in the viveka. This is what Vidyaranya goes through the analysis of how in every experience that which remains the common, that which is unchanging is nothing but the consciousness that I am. Therefore, so tato vibhakta tat samvitu, that consciousness is undifferentiated in all the different experiences that we are experiencing. It is ekarupaha na bijjati, it cannot be differentiated. And therefore, he takes the waking state experience and say, in this experience, there is an experiencer and experienced, and I have to recognize the conscious entity that I am while experiencing all other things. So why can't I sit down in one meditation place and then stop seeing? If I stop seeing, mind will be still projecting something that he has already seen or various attachments. So this thing can go on. And I have to use viveka, means it requires a discrimination. Discrimination involves the mind. It's not absence of mind, as some people think about. Who am I inquiry? I have to go beyond the mind. It's not beyond the mind. I have to use the mind to understand. I am not even the mind also, because mind is also this. People keep changing their mind. So changing mind is that which is part of this. Therefore, I am beyond the mind also, but Using the mind, I have to analyze it. So that's what is viveka is required. And then he takes not only this is in the waking state, same thing happens in the dream state also. While I am dreaming, I am seeing again through 5 senses of the dream senses, I am seeing the dream world. So all the experiences that you see in the waking state exactly is projected similar in the dream world. Say, oh, dream is not real. Who says dream is not real? A waker says dream is not real. Dreamer doesn't say dream is not real. As long as I am dreaming, sakale satyavadbhati. Shankara says, as long as I am dreaming, I take the dream world as indeed real. That means object is there, subject is there, experience is real. So therefore, all things that I perceive still are there. The operation is still going on. Perception is going on. Experience is going on. There is an experiencer and experienced also in the dream. Then who am I? I am that in the waking state I am experiencing these objects. I am experiencing different objects in the dream world. So I am neither a waker nor a dreamer. But I am pure consciousness, because of which I can be conscious of the experiences that I am experiencing. So that requires the discrimination. So why don't I go to sleep? I don't have any object, any experience. It says even the deep sleep state also involves an experience. Because when I get up in the morning, I say I slept very well. That means I was there experiencing the absence of everything in the world. So how do I know? That's why if you don't know, then you cannot tell that I experienced it. I had a beautiful sleep. What did you do? I don't know. What did you see there? I didn't see anything. I don't know. Just as when I enter into a pitch dark room and say, what do you see? What do you see? I don't see anything. Why? Because I need a light for me to see. Really? You don't see anything there? Yeah, I cannot see anything. Why? Because it's too dark. How do you know it's too dark? I can see. What? I can see that it is too dark. That means I have the knowledge of the absence of light also. In what light I am seeing that it's dark? That light is not opposite to the dark. Therefore, even that experience of the absence of knowledge of every object in the deep sleep state is an experience which I can collect back in the morning, because I can recollect it in the morning because I have collected in the night. So therefore, the experiencer and the recollector has to be one and the same. Therefore, I was there in the deep sleep state experiencing the absence of all the objects, all the objects in the world. Now this, like that, using a discrimination, I am there in the waking state experiencing different objects. I am there in the dream state experiencing the different objects. I am there in the deep sleep state experiencing absence of different objects. In everywhere I am experiencing something other than myself. But I am independent of states that I am moving around. Waking state change into dream state change into deep sleep state. So changes are occurring in the states, but not me, because I am the same conscious entity who can recollect back what I saw in the waking state, what I saw in the dream state, what I saw in the deep sleep state. I am not changing, but things are changing. That samvit, that consciousness that I am is the essence of my nature. That is the tattva. So that discrimination, therefore, I am a conscious entity. That's what he establishes in the first. So if in the first section, it deals with who am I, and establishes I am pure consciousness. That is, I am Chit Swarupam. Then he takes next, not only I am Chit Swarupam, I am Ananda Swarupam. So how does he establish that I am happiness itself? If I am happiness, why am I looking for happiness all the time? That's your problem. The problem is, all my life, I am not looking for consciousness, I am not looking for existence, I am looking for happiness only. So where is that happiness? Say happiness is getting that one. It is out there, out here, here. I'm running around all over the world, all over the universe. We came all the way to from India to America, America here, there, thinking that happiness is going to be there. So traveling all over to find happiness. But he says, you are the source of happiness itself, Ananda Swarupa. So how can you prove? Essentially he says, in this sloka, so Iyamat, this is sloka 8, Iyamatma paranandaha parama premaspadam yataha mana bhuvam hi bhuyasam iti prematma nichyate. So this Iyam Atma, this self that I am is of the nature of Paramananda, supreme happiness. So why do you say so? Because it is what you love so much. Parama Premaspadam, it is the source of your greatest love. I love myself most. Because if you look at our experience, whatever that gives happiness, we love. That is the essence of our love. We don't love any person, any object. What we love is the source of happiness. We say this person is, well, I love only because that person is giving me happiness. If the person became a pain in the neck, then next day I won't have that. So it is not the person that I love, it is the happiness that person or the object that brings in. So this is the essence of any love. What I love is the source of happiness. And I love myself. For any other thing, I say I love because I love that, because it gives me happiness. I love because the other one brings happiness and so on. But why do you love yourself? I love because. No, because I love myself absolutely. I love anything for my sake, but I love myself not for anything's sake. I love myself as a truth. There is no cause for it, because that's my nature. Why? Because I am on the Swarupa. Therefore, the source of happiness comes even in fulfilling the desires. When I say I'm happy when I got a hot cup of coffee in the morning, you say, oh, I'm so happy now. It's not the coffee that brought the happiness. It is my mind, a contented mind, a quiet mind, a mind which is no more longing for anything. Is the mind that is where the happiness is, because I am reflecting my own nature at that time when the mind is calm and quiet and contented. So if the mind is every time, all the time is contented, then I'm all the time happy. That's what Krishna says. Says, who is Sthita Prajna? Says he is happy by himself. He doesn't depend on anything, coffee, anything else for his happiness, because Pradhati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmani eva atmana tushtaha. He is reveling in himself by himself, because the self that he is reveling in is the very source of happiness. So, that's Vidyaranya establishes, I am the source of happiness, because all objects are for my sake, but I am my sake only. I am not for object's sake. So any desire is only for my sake, because it brings happiness. So what I love is the source of happiness, and I love myself, therefore I am the source of happiness. So not only I am Chit Swarupam, I am Ananda Swarupam. And he doesn't establish in this chapter that I am Sat Swarupam also. It is taken up in the next chapter. But here, if you say I am consciousness, and that consciousness has to be existing consciousness, because we're not talking about non-existent consciousness. So I am Sat and Chit Swarupam also. That I am Satchidananda. So who am I? I am Satchidananda. How did I arrive? I arrived by discarding what I am not and shifting my attention to what I am. So in this process, in the who am I inquiry, I am really, if you look at analysis correctly, I am eliminating everything. I am not, because everything is this, and I am shifting my attention to the subject that I am. So I eliminated the whole universe. And I eliminate even the experience of the body, mind and intellect. That's what he goes into the next in terms of the Panchakosha Viveka. And I am not even this body, mind, intellect. So I am becoming smaller and smaller in the process because I eliminated the whole universe, I eliminated the body, I eliminated the mind, I eliminated intellect. I am becoming smaller, smaller in the who am I inquiring. So also now I have to know what I have eliminated as this is also I am. And that requires a Shastra Pramana. Means even that I have eliminated the whole universe, not this, not this, not this, is also me only. How do I get it? And therefore for that Shastra becomes a Pramana. It establishes the fact that the whole universe is also Satchidananda Swarupam. It is the Ishvara himself is becoming many. For that, a scripture becomes a means of knowledge. So, Ishvara is also Satchidananda Swarupam. I am also Satchidananda Swarupam. And there cannot be divisions in the Satchidananda Swarupam. Therefore, I and Ishvara cannot be separate. From the point of the Tattvam, from the point of the absolute truth, there cannot be any difference. Superficial differences may be there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the substantive, the fundamental difference cannot be there. And that he brings the scriptural pramana to establish the Jiva, Atma, Aikya, Bodhana. So that teaching is what is essentially done. So scripture is used to establish that the universe that I have rejected is also Satchidananda Swarupam. Tattvam aspect of it is Satchidananda Swarupam. My nature is also Satchidananda Swarupam. There cannot be divisions. Therefore, it has to be one and the same. So now with that, the Jiva analysis, he goes into the analysis of Ishvara. And what is that? I'm not saying Ishvara. I'm saying only the world. And what is this world? This is the world is a creation. And who created? Ishvara created. Now we say, who is that Ishvara? How did this creation comes in? So the scripture becomes a pramana now because I have not seen Ishvara and I have not seen his creation. And now scripture becomes a basis to tell me that there is a Lord who created this entire universe. Because this is a well-behaved ordered system has to be created. Otherwise it goes into disorder. So order has to be maintained. For that a creativity is required. And therefore there is a intelligence behind the creation. So where did this come from has to be questioned. So he goes into the analysis next in terms of the analysis of the Ishvara. How did the Ishvara comes? Says now you have to bring in Maya as a Prakriti. So Satchidananda Swarupam is Brahman because Anandam is Anantam, which is infinite. Infinite cannot undergo any modification. So infinite Brahman cannot create. In fact, there is no part of creation also because it's infinite. Creation involves a modification. Therefore, if there is a creation, since I am seeing a creation, then therefore I am seeing a division. Therefore, I have to make, says there has to be a knower who is creating this. So therefore, I say this Prakriti itself is the basis for creation. So we have to bring Prakriti, which is of the nature of Maya. So Vidyaranya talks about now a Maya is there. Maya is same as Prakriti. Mayanta Prakritim Vidya is the Shruti statement. So Maya is brought in, and in that Maya, it is Trigunatmikam. There is a three gunas are there, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. And in the Sattva guna involves knowledge, pure knowledge. So as a pure knowledge, pure Sattva, it corresponds to the Ishvara because Ishvara is all knowledge. So the essence of Sattva guna forms the Ishvara as a Sarvajñatvam. Sarvajñatvam means he knows he is all knowledge itself. He has the all knowledge or he is all the knowledge. And that has to be understood. So Ishvara is the Jagadkarta Ishvaraha. He is the creator because he has the knowledge of creation. Because he knows everything, therefore he can create. If I don't know, I cannot create. So he should be knowing all things that are in the universe, that are discovered or yet to be discovered or within the creation only. And he should be a Sarvajnaha. That means he is all knowledge itself. That comes from the Sattva-guna, the pure Sattva-guna. From the Tamoguna is inert things. He, using the Tamoguna of the Maya, he creates the whole universe of 14 lokas. So he is a creator, intelligent cause, and he himself also the material cause for the creation, because this Prakriti is part of him, is a lower nature of the Lord. In the Gitas, in the 7th chapter, it says all this is the apara prakriti, bhumirapo nalo vayu kham manobuddhirevacha, says all this is apara prakriti, is in fact is my lower nature. Apareyamitaswanyam, there is higher nature of them that protects dharyate jagatu, that essentially supports the whole universe. That is the higher prakriti, which is the Ishvara part also. So lower Prakriti becomes essentially Tamoguna aspect of it, and pure Tamoguna is used in creating all 17 lokas and all the bodies. So including this body, every body is part of this total creation, because I didn't create this body. I've been given this body. So this body is also part of the creation of the Lord himself. That's why he takes care of Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasra. I am there in everybody, taking care of all your physiological functions. I am the one who is doing, I am the one who is breathing, I am the one who is digesting. So without him, nothing can be done. Even though I claim that I am the doer for everything, but he is the one really doer. This has to be understood. So from the Sattva-guna is the Sarvajñatvam comes, it says, and from Tamoguna is Sarvavyapakatvam also comes into picture as the material cause for creation. Then this Rajoguna with part of Sattva-guna and part of Tamoguna forms a basis for Jiva. The Rajoguna involves action. And this action is that's why everybody says, I am a karta, I am a doer. Why are you doing? Because I want to be happy. That's why everybody wants to do something, right? So that they gain happiness out of it. So then this becomes a problem because of the ajnana, not knowing that I am the Brahman, but taking the local body, mind, and intellect as I am. That's my confusion, because I am this is my confusion. When I say I am this, obviously I am not that. So in the very identification I am this, there is an exclusion also, and I don't like any exclusion, so I want that also mine. So all the rat race comes because I want to gain this, I want to have power of over everybody, so they are all mine only. So that is continuous struggle because I don't like limitations. That's my inherent nature. Why I don't like limitation? Because I want to be infinite. That in fact is my nature. Because I take myself, I am a finite, I want to become infinite by a process. But finite cannot become infinite by any process, because process itself is finite. So finite plus finite is only finite. So I cannot become any infinite, but at the same time, you are already infinite, therefore I don't have to become. All I have to know that I am infinite. Therefore, its viveka is required in understanding this. So here, he analyzed first what is Jiva. Then he analyzed what is Ishvara. So he is Sarvajñatvam, Sarvavyapakatvam. He is the intelligent cause and he is the material cause for the whole universe. Now, how can I be him? Is a question that comes in the Aikyam. It says, how do I know who I am and how do I know who the Ishvara is? I have to use the same discriminative faculty to differentiate. I am not this Annamaya Kosha, I am not this Pranamaya Kosha, I am not this Manomaya Kosha, I am not the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Kosha is a sheath where it covers my knowledge of what I am. And I had to discard intellectually, not physically, intellectually I had to discard to arrive at who I am. In the same way I had to discard the Ishvara or the Brahman, because the Brahman total identified with the local Vyakti is Jiva. Brahman total identified with the total creation is Ishvara, with the Maya. Because he is Sarvajñatvam, he doesn't have ignorance. Because I am only alpajnatvam, I have the ignorance. Because I have only a notion that I am only this. So I had to understand, using my intelligence that I have, to see oneness that is pervading both. So how do I do it? This is what he discusses in terms of Bhagatyaga Lakshanam. Bhagatyaga means I had to discard that which is not unnecessary, which is unnecessary, and only equate in this what is necessary. Bhaga means part of it, Chaga means give up. So I had to give up in this equation. So in mind, I am this, I have to give up this. Then I am left with I am. Right? So I had to remove this part. And in the Ishvara, is also Brahman plus the total universe of creation, everything else of this, that Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. He is pervading the whole Idam, this. So that Isha that pervades all this, I had to discard this part and look at that which is the essence of the existent consciousness that pervades it. So that's called Bhagatyaganam. Just as we say, this is Soyam Devadatta. This is the example he also gives. This is that Devadatta. When I say this Devadatta, this is Devadatta is one introduction. That is Devadatta is another introduction. But this is that Devadatta. When I say I'm equating two Devadattas, apparently two Devadattas, which are completely different. The body of this Devadatta is different from that Devadatta when I saw a long time ago in somewhere else. But I am discarding all that which is Virodha, that which is contradictory qualifications of this Devadatta and that Devadatta, but equating the essence of this Devadatta and that Devadatta. Oh my God, he is that Devadatta. My God, we saw him a long time ago. That equation comes instantaneously if I know what is that and what is this. If I have knowledge of that and I have knowledge of this. So, I am inquiry has to now proceed to the next level. In the Tattvamasi, only Tvam Padartham is I am inquiry. I'd inquire about the Tattva also. What is that this whole universe is? That requires a scriptural pramana, scriptural means of knowledge to say that that is also Satchidananda. I cannot do it by who am I inquiring? And understand oneness that pervades these two using this Bhagatyaga Lakshanam. That means discarding the contradictory qualifications of I am and contradictory qualifications of the Ishvara, and only in the essence that has to be equated, and that is essentially talked about Bhagatyaga Lakshanam that Vidyaranya talks about next. So with that, the Shravanam part, he takes over. That means I have to listen and understand what exactly the scripture is pointing out. Since Jiva and the Jagat and the Ishvara is being analyzed, and the one substantive tattvam of all the things is nothing but Satchidananda Swarupam, has to be understood. So by analysis, Anubhava, Yukti and Shastra, we understood what's called Shravana. Now, questions do arise, and objections come from different acharyas and different philosophers, darshanikas. So I should be able to understand clearly, yes, that's not correct, this is not correct. So that reflection has to be there. Mananam is required. And here he gives one example of Mananam. But we have to understand from our point what exactly, so that we can firmly, without any doubt, that yes, I am not this, but this also is included, where I am discarding the superficial names and forms in this, but taking the essence as the Sat. In the later chapters, he will go into analysis of the perceptual process and how the Sat aspect and the Chitta aspect join together in the perception. In the 8th chapter, he discusses that. But here, the understanding from the point of teaching and is to know that I am the totality, one Satchidananda Swarupam, Ahameva. And that has to be doubtless understanding by continuously reflect on it, analyzing it, to use all the logic that's possible to establish I am indeed that, so that I have no more doubts. Then even after that, After the class is over, this doesn't sink in because my mind is not purified enough to get established in the knowledge. It means Chitta Suddhi is not complete. Therefore, scripture itself recommends a Nididhyasanam. And we are addressing that now as what exactly involved in Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam involves constant smaranam of this knowledge that I am not this and I am the total itself as the substratum of that which pervades the whole universe as my true nature. That understanding, while dealing with the universe, while transacting in the world, I should have. It's not that sitting in the seat of meditation, I am total, but once I come out of it, I am back to the same place. When somebody gives me left and right, I get agitated. Then it's not. It's only in the seat of meditation, I am Brahman, outside I am not Brahman. So, that I am Brahman has to be applied in my day-to-day transactions while transacting in the world. That means my mind should be able to discriminate in spite of the differences that I am transacting with. That knowledge has to keep coming all the time in every transaction. For that only Nididhyasana is required. How long I have to do Nididhyasana? Until I am firmly abiding into that. It may take a day, it may take hours, it may take years, it may take whole life also. And depends upon how pure my mind is. How many vasanas and attachments and all that I have. That is what is essentially involved in the understanding of that. So in the Nididhyasanam, there are two approaches, or many approaches can be done. And here Vidyaranya talks about one kind of approach we call yogic approach. But the best approach that the Vedantin recommends is essentially looking from the point of having this knowledge and apply this knowledge on continuously by start practicing that. Until, as Krishna says, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagyo, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. That samadhi, that abidance into the knowledge, comes when I see when the karta, karma, kriya, karaka, in all the activities, not only the yoga, the yajna that is being exemplified there in the Brahmarpanam, is Arpanam, is the ladle, is putting it to the homam, and there I see the Arpanam, the ladle, the inert ladle which is finite is nothing but Brahman. Brahman means infinite conscious entity. And this small ladle is finite unconscious entity. But my vision is the Sat aspect that is there in the ladle is the same as Sat Swarupam of the Brahman. So my knowledge has to be different while transacting and still using the ladle as a ladle. In the same way, I had to have the Nididhyasanam, abidance in the knowledge while transacting in the world. As I am transacting, the knowledge that he is Brahman, she is Brahman, the action is Brahman, the instrument of action is Brahman, the result of action is Brahman, and everything is nothing but Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. That constant remembrance, smarana of the teaching while acting in the world is Nididhyasana. But here, Vidyaranya talks about Nididhyasana in the yogic method, where I sit and contemplate, I am that nature of that, where by prayatna, by taking an effort, I'd say, I am that, I am that, I am not this at all. That Sachidananda Swarupam that pervades both this and that, while seeing or while objectifying, I am going into called Akhanda Akara Vritti, where in every thought I see only Brahman only as conscious entity. I am conscious of this, I am conscious of that. So I am shifting my attention continuously by first effort to that I am the nature of the reality, until it gets into a mind, gets into a stage where it becomes natural process, where I am that beautiful essence of it is taken into without my effort, and that he calls it as a samadhi. This is different from the yoga, Patanjali Yoga Samadhi, where there the knowledge is not there, you are trying to quieten the mind there. But here, with the knowledge, I am going there. Therefore, I'll remain with the knowledge only, established in the knowledge. And that becomes the Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. So, we have come to the slokas where we just covered all the background of that. And he's going to talk about Nididhyasana, where we take from the next week on this subject of continuation of the slokas, where we complete the chapter of first chapter and take the second chapter, where he's going to analyze the Sat aspect more exhaustively, taking the Chandogya Upanishad statement, Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasit. That statement is going to be exhaustively analyzed in this second chapter, where the existence of the whole universe is being talked about, and that we will be covering from the next class. With that, we will stop the class today, and we will start with the next class next weekend. Hari Om, everybody. One time.
See if there are any questions on that.
Is it working?
There are no questions online. Can I ask you a question? I can stop.
If you have questions, you have to send it by email. I think that's that will be addressed in the
10. There is a check. Can I ask you a question?
no, you can turn it off.